I know the reason how many people offend me, go.
Lamba, not get here and there. Only coverage.
Who created that spirit?
Bro, I don't know.
I even want to know something that comrade means.
Comrade, yo, that
Bro,
stuff is blowing up on Twitter like crazy.
It's the greatest thing that you ever came. I love it.
Alright now, so like they're talking about Victony. Who is Victony?
Victony is this young guy who is a student, or who was a student. I heard about Victony for the first time in 2019. Or thereabouts, or 2018, I can't remember. A Nigerian rapper who is also a record exec by the name of AQ told me that he met him and he thinks he's going to be something special. Even at the time, he was just coming up being, I think he had become a rapper, or he was coming back up being, one of the two, sure. He was coming off the back of being a rapper. He was trying to get out of rap music. He's a rapper. He started off as a rapper. And he said, this guy's voice is going to be something special. And funny enough, a year later, he releases an EP with Mail and Block Party, and the EP just took him to another level. Maybe not took him to another level immediately. People started seeing him, started knowing seeing and knowing his story. But he had a Tupac moment or a Naira moment, if I'm going to be honest. The accident turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Let's be honest. It was a blessing in disguise, because a lot of people then went to stream his music. If you must have looked at his numbers at the time, especially if you check his numbers at the time, especially on YouTube, there was a spike. There's a spike on the songs on the first EP, on Maria and some other records. The first record on the EP that I heard was titled More. Started off with this a cappella thing, and I was like, how can someone have this voice? The voice was special. It wasn't like Oxlade's. You know, Oxlade can sing as well, but his own had all these melodies going on. He wasn't manipulating his voice with how Oxlade could, but he was still delivering the same amount of sonics and the amount of sonorous effects in his voice. And he's still a student, by the way. Still a student at IMSU. Is it IMSU or Futo? One of them, Futo. It's Futo. Still a student at Futo in Owerri, and shout out to him, man. He's been on the road since then. He's released 2 EPs or 3. The last EP wasn't exactly an EP. It was like a single that had other songs. That had one other song. But shout out to him. He's doing well.
So, I mean, he has put out some work.
Yeah.
A couple of collabs and some of his own work.
Yeah.
And what makes this guy special?
Number one, it's the voice. Yeah, before a lot of people knew him, it was the voice. The voice was too powerful for people not to take it. You know when you hear someone like Oxlade's voice, you're going to hear The Weeknd's voice. You get. There are a lot of people like that, voices that can start with Michael Jackson's voice. Who is that? Right? Especially when it comes from an afrobeats artist where you don't even have to have a voice to be a star. So the voice is so powerful. You have to, it's the kind of voice to start to you. That's one. Number two, the kind of music it makes is different. It's afrobeats, but it's kind of different. The things that he talks about is obviously a child of the Wandiko Wizkid combination era, but there's a little bit of Kiss Daniel in there as well, because of the type of the bombastic things he can say sometimes, and the way he can say some of those things, and the lamba he can come up with. For example, only father I'm scaring my Lady Gaga, you know. You know, it's a tongue twister. Shout out to Tamara. So anyways, that and the fact that he's an incredible songwriter, not just because he can write cohesive and coherent lyrics, he can also create lamba. You know, the rules that are to creating lamba and writing great songs, sometimes they overlap, but sometimes they're not the same. For example, if you can tell me you do skeleton, that is really great songwriting for lamba, right? But it's not. It's one songwriting. Imagine giving that to the Recording Academy for the Grammys. Anyway, the point is,
oh my God,
this guy, he had something special written all over him, and he had the ability to also to also rap. Like he delivers his music like he's rapping. Like some of his cadences are they show that he was a rapper at some point. There was even a trap song on his debut EP, if I'm not wrong. The way he quotes, the way he delivers,
Amazing.
Like he's got the cadences, the breath control, those things are still there. So it's not, maybe it's not exactly different, but there's something there that is unique. That's why it's thriving. But another thing that really makes him special is the accident. Because it was a blessing in disguise. It made a lot of people go to the music to listen to it, and people literally followed the journey till he could walk. He was on a wheelchair. People were listening to his records. The day he walked on, the day he stood up in public for the first time, Twitter exploded. It trended. All those conversations. So yeah, he's there.
Oh, nice. So moving on, Buju had a fantastic year in 2021.
Yeah, he did. He really did.
Do you think Victony can match this and be like the Buju of 2022?
When we say that there might be parallels or that it could be the Buju, it's not like he is Buju. It's not like we are comparing talents. It's not like we are saying that he could go on a features run, even though he could go on a features run. The thing is, there are parallels between their respective stories. Both of them started from the underground. So they had the reputation in school, Buju had the reputation in school. Vocals, both very unique and powerful, right? Their respective vocal textures also have, like, there are parallels between the vocal textures of both artists. Then they released bodies of work on their own as well. They released it underground as underground people. Then with Buju signed to somebody. Victony released his own on somebody's platform. The two of them had two moments. Buju left a label. Victony had an accident, right? And then all of a sudden they're buzzing. Even though Buju's own literally just possibly came out of nowhere, and everybody decided. Victony's own has been building up for a while, right? Like after the accident, it's been on the run, features, everything, and the singles have been really, really good. So away from those parallels, we also let's then balance it and break it down to why it could be the Buju of 2022. Buju can't be the Buju of 2021 because he's a bigger artist now. He charges a load of money, and Buju is now big enough to start thinking about his image rights as a reason to change his name. Buju or Benson, sorry. To change his name, right? This year is made up for somebody to be like that, in the sense that it also started with not a lot of hits to start the year, not a lot of classic bodies content in terms of body of work to start the year, even though we have had some good albums. It's been like that. It's been unassuming. So 2020 was Omale. And sometimes, to some people, it was Neyoko. 2021 was Buju. 2022, it's looking like Ashake. But could Victony have it? Yes, it could. That's up to him, right? The music is been releasing has been incredible. It's been releasing some really, really incredible songs. Kulu Mental is a ridiculous record. The record before that, produced by P Prime, was a ridiculous record. But it takes a little bit more to get that. For already, like parallels again, like Buju. A feature is the biggest record it's been on yet. Only Father. Buju. A lot of Buju's records last year. Buju, it's very arguable. A lot of people argue that Buju didn't have a hit of his own last year. Possibly the biggest song he released last year was Outside of his own. The biggest songs that he was on were features, right? So with Victony, the biggest song he has been on yet is Only Father, right? But we're not even saying that because they could both jump on features and get away with things. No, we are saying Buju was Nigeria's MVP of last year. Victony could be the Nigerian MVP of this year, especially if this EP cracks it and breaks through. Now, could this EP crack it and break through? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, because the stage is set for him. He's putting the work to get to the level. Now, let's see him be able to do it or not. Let's see him be able to do it or not.
All right, that's fine.
But the chances of him doing it are way higher than him not doing it. And we're not saying that he has to hit the level of Buju. We're just saying that he could be Nigeria's breakout star of this year. If he wanted to know. It could really be.
It's nice. All right, but what are your takes on some of the singles so far?
I said the singles have been good. Really good songs. Maybe none of them has really thought through the roof. Maybe like Balaja or Mokbe or Baddest. But the songs are good. They're good records. So that means usually when people are moving like this, it just takes one record to tear through and everything just goes straight through the roof. So on the ZP, you can, all things being equal, you should have like 1 or 2 hits, possibly. At least one. His team should be able to push one through. But like Nigeria, the way Nigeria is right now, you don't even have to have a hit of your own to have a fantastic or spectacular year. You could try out features because the streaming era, the digital era significantly right now in terms of like how people consume music. We are digital animals, we are digital people. So the way we consume music is going to be different. So I'm really looking forward to what Victony does this year. I'm really looking forward to the IP Apollo. And I think everybody should look forward to it as well. That's facts only.